Hi. Welcome to Kramer and Jess Uncensored, the most dangerous podcast on the internet. Not really. We've calmed down a lot. We're nowhere near as dangerous as we used to be. That's all right. We used to be somebody in this world. Now we're just, well, I don't know. Today's podcast is actually going to get kind of wild here. If you've never been here for the Uncensored podcast, we should probably give you a warning because you may know us from the radio show, and this maybe certain words in here or topics that might be a little unsettling. Yeah. Jess, what is this?
Uncensored is basically like the close friends feature on Instagram where you have like a select few where you show everything to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what Uncensored is.
If you want to watch our show live, you can be a part of it. We always love, the one thing I love about the Uncensored podcast is we have you involved in it as well. So if you ever want to interact with us while we do this live, we come on maybe around, just plan on 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, Wednesday morning. So maybe if you're one of our West Coast friends and you're getting ready for work, you can pop on the YouTube show, just search Kramer and Jess, and then it'll pop up a notification when we go live. Question from the radio show today is, was everybody's parent terrible to them when they played sports back in the day? This was like way more. And hi, good morning, by the way, to Bethany watching on YouTube, and hi Marcy and Tina and Isabel are here this morning. Hi guys. Hi. Was everyone's parent terrible to them as you played childhood sports? And if you don't listen to the radio show, we probably need to step back and explain how we got here in the first place.
Today we were talking about, or I was sharing, like, I've discovered a different side of myself that I didn't know existed, and it was unlocked last weekend when I went to a basketball game at Rosedale Christian Academy. Our friend Rob Long, he coaches the girls basketball team there, and it was like I turned into the Hulk. Like, I am screaming for these girls. I don't have any personal connection to them other than just wanting them to win because I'm like supporting them, but I'm screaming at the ref. I'm like yelling shit. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I don't even know the game of basketball, but I became so like protective and crazy over these girls. And I thought to myself, I am terrified of who I could possibly become if my future kids are involved in sports in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. And also I'm like witnessing these parents. I think what's so crazy is like these parents are as close to the court as they can be. So like here's the line and parents are like right here and they're like yelling. They're like waving their arms and shit. And they're like, ref, what the fuck? Ref, what the, you know what I mean?
It's like a Ravens game, but like it's your kids.
It's crazy.
Right? Like,
it's crazy. And so that was pretty, it was an amazing experience, but I freaked myself out because I was like, who am I? I didn't even know that this part of me existed because I'm not a competitive person. I've never been into playing sports personally. I like watching football, but when it comes to like me playing things, I don't even like playing games. Like right. I don't care about like winning or anything like that. And it reminded me of when I was forced to play soccer when I was little. And because my dad wanted to help coach this team, and my dad actually.
So wait, it was more for him than it was for you. You didn't want to play, but he was like, I want to be a coach.
I think it was like part of that period, which is so funny to me that like at this point, my parents are just kind of like putting me in different things. And now when I think back on it, I don't know why theater and dance was the last thing that we tried, given who I am as a person. Yeah. Like it was literally the last thing. I did karate, I did swimming, I did a whole bunch of shit. I did soccer and all these kinds of things. And my dad growing up was really, really good at soccer to the point where like he could have been on like a traveling team around the world. Like he was very, very good when he was young. And he was like the assistant coach to this soccer team that he wanted to put me on. So they put me on this team and like I wanted no part of it, you know, like literally zero part, to the point where like in protest in the middle of one of the games, I sat down on the grass and I was making like, you know how you can tie like the flower stems to make like necklace and stuff. Yeah. I was like making shit. I'm like
silent protest,
talking to girls on the other team. I'm like making them bracelets.
Wait, would you play?
I mean, at that point, because I was like, there were so many times where I was telling him I don't want to do this, and his whole thing was like, you need to get through the season. You started something, you need to finish it. I understand
good
that
life
part
lesson, sure.
of the lesson that he was trying to teach me, even though I didn't want to be there in the first place. I understand that part, but I got to a point where I didn't want to do it so badly that I refused to play, and I was sitting in the middle of the game. So
but did your dad have those same type of energy though? Was he very aggressive? Even at like
No.
6, was he like, "Yo, let's go, let's," as a coach?
No, no,
It's like a
no.
different vibe.
I think now as an adult, I understand that like he was coming from a place of just wanting something to bond over with
Sure.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
And he wanted to share this thing that he loved so much. And also that he didn't really get to explore in his life the way that he wanted to with me. I understand that.
Yeah.
But now as like an adult, I'm like, Dad, there's so many other things that we bond over and that I love you for and that we
Why did
connect
we
over.
why did
I
we
am
miss
the
it?
last fucking person on this earth that should be on a soccer field. And you know that.
But I think
And
that's
that made us clash because I was like, I don't want to do this. And he would get upset because I didn't want to.
because you didn't want to do it. See,
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents do that though. I think a lot of parents, and just as I'm noticing now, as a lot of my friends become parents, is they try to relive. And I think honestly, the best example to me is pageant parents. Oh
Ooh.
my God, pageant parents,
Stage
right?
moms, yeah.
Stage
Dance
moms,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah, probably same with dance, maybe cheer too. It's almost like there was something you either really wanted to excel at, or maybe you did excel at, but I'm guessing it's probably the first one. You wanted to excel at, you wanted to be a part of. So you take your own shit and you kind of force your kid to like go and try to be a version of you that you wish you were. Even
Yeah.
your kid had like no interest,
Yeah.
like zero interest. My dad, I swear to God, and I believe this to be true. I've never worked on this in therapy, but I bet you if I did, it would be true. My dad, I played every sport possible as a kid. So if you guys are wondering, you're like, why doesn't he like football? What's the deal? Did he not grow up with sports? My dad loved sports. I grew up playing every single sport almost humanly possible. And every single time my dad would be the coach. He would always want to be the coach. It was my team, my brother's team.
Of wanting to be involved.
He wanted to be
yeah.
involved. He wanted to be the coach. Yo, that never sat well. Every single time he'd be so mean. He'd be yelling at me worse than the other kids. Like I did not like that energy that he brought to the game. And so I'm pretty sure, like when people ask why I don't like sports, I can, well, childhood trauma probably, but I think I just got so turned off from every
Yeah.
sport that I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not. Did your parents get it? Because you talk about you being aggressive, so they weren't aggressive during this. What about your mom?
No, it's not like my dad was like I think the only time he'd be aggressive, obviously, is like when we were actually playing the game of wanting us to do well. He definitely was like yelling at me to get up when I was sitting on the ground,
Yeah.
of it clearly. But it was never like an aggression. I think it just felt like he was pushing for something that just wasn't there, you know?
Right.
I would say when I started dancing competitively, and that was something that I wanted to do, that's when my whole family was on board and we were at different competitions every single weekend.
Yeah.
And my parents were like all fucking in. And like my mom was doing the hair and the makeup for everyone on the team. When we would be competing, my parents were very much so like screaming their faces off and like cheering us on and everything like that. And you know, if whether we would win or we wouldn't, it's like we felt very supported in that way. I also think that there has to be a balance, because I was thinking about this too, where it's like if your kid doesn't necessarily know what exactly that they want to do, because that's what you would hope. Like
Sure.
I hope that one of my kids is like, I'm really into this, like I want to go fucking hard in it. And for me, it's like I don't care what that is, like cool.
Sure.
But it's like if you have, I think what sucks where it's like if you're trying stuff out and you immediately, once you start, realize that that's not it, do you then have to force them to keep going just because they started and they do have to finish it?
A lot of my parent friends,
You know
will
what
do
I
that.
mean?
They'll make their kids. I think that's probably a universal thing.
Yeah.
I got 2 different friends that I could think of in the last couple of years that told me a story about my kids started this activity. They don't like it anymore, but I'm making them stick it out through at least the end of the season.
At least,
because
yeah.
they committed to it. And I think there probably is some good life lesson. I mean, listen, I'd probably be a terrible parent, so don't listen to me. But I feel like there's probably some kind of good life lesson in there, because
by the end of it,
right?
I remember him just being like, at least you got through it and you finished the season and I'm proud of you for that. And I'm like, and I see it now, like on the weekends, like early mornings, like at these fucking tournaments, it's fucking cold. They didn't even want to be there. He wanted, it's like, it was like Gretchen, fetch is never going to happen. Like it was
You're
like,
never going to be a professional soccer coach, Dad.
no,
Leave me alone.
not him. But I was like, Dad, like soccer is never going to happen for me. Like, it's not like, I'm never going to be Bend It like Beckham. Like it's not
It's
me.
like that whole trope that's like this is your dream, Dad.
Yes.
Not mine.
Yeah.
But
Like,
I love him for wanting to have something to bond with me over. And I think thankfully, and I appreciate the fact that like once we got me in the place that I belonged, then everyone was on board, whether it was like dance competitions or like all the musicals that I did. Every single fucking family member was there for every single one, which was cool.
Charlotte, did you play sports, or what were your activities as a kid?
Yeah, we like lived the same childhood, I swear, because my parents met playing soccer.
Aww.
So I think they were like, oh, this will be cute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she must know how to play.
She'll love it. She'll love
I
this.
was like the same as you, where I was like sitting, or I was like chasing butterflies. Like I would just get so distracted.
Yeah.
So my hot take is like, I think it's fair to make the kid finish it if they express interest in doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
So you, in Jess's situation, would you let your kid that was Jess in that situation drop out mid-season?
Well, first of all, my child, well, I wouldn't have a child. So just kidding.
You're hypothetical. Your dog.
Yeah, no, because your dad, like this was just like a thing your dad wanted to do, correct?
Yeah.
I would have let you, because it's like clearly this is like more of a me thing.
But
like,
I think what sucks too is when you're little, I remember the way he proposed it too, and he was very much like, "Oh, Bob, this is so cool."
Oh, of course.
Like this is gonna be so cool. And of course, me, I'm like, okay, I guess.
Right.
Well, especially because you want to.
I don't know.
You want to please your parents.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
yeah.
there's a lot of that to it.
And it was more time. It was more time with him, and like at the time where we were in our lives, I mean, he was working so much, so it was like a time to like be around him. But it was like, I swear to you, after that first practice, I was like, oh, this is not it for me. This
but
is
a whole
not
season
it.
later. Wait,
Yeah.
Charlotte, were your parents like aggressive sideliners or no?
No, they weren't aggressive. I think they just really wanted me to like have fun, and they like, I know my dad was like the assistant coach, but like he was pretty chill with it. Like I don't think we're like the biggest sports family.
Your parents as coaches, man. It's just I'm glad your dad. That's why I was curious how your dad was as a coach, Jess.
He loved it. I think I wanted to be good so bad because I could tell that he enjoyed it.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't like this.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I want
go
to
to
be
drama
on the stage. I don't belong in the grass.
And what's so funny is, and just a little like, I'd have to think about everybody that's worked on this show. Jess was then a theater kid. I was a theater kid. Charlotte was a theater kid. Stone was a theater kid.
He was.
What?
Yeah, he was a
was.
theater
You never
kid.
told me.
I
He
would bet Hassan was probably a theater kid. I don't know that to be true. Do you know if Hassan was a theater kid?
If he wasn't, then we go to drag shows now, so he's theater adjacent
In
Yeah.
some
nothing
way.
else.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Like, if you wonder what happens to theater kids when they grow up, they all end up as radio nerds. So.
It's either on the radio or on a cruise. And if I wasn't here, I'd be working on a cruise for sure.
Bethany on our YouTube show says my sister screams like a maniac for her kids at sports games. Now,
Oh, I know.
question.
I'm gonna be so bad. I just don't know.
Bethany, I don't know if she's still on or not, but Bethany, is that the same vibe that your sister would typically have? Or this is what we kind of talked about on the radio show, is like, is she a completely different human, or is that kind of her normal vibe, if you will?
Personality.
Hey Amber, good morning. Thanks for watching. Bethany says it's including my nephew bull riding. My sister is a city girl turned country.
Oh yeah.
Love.
That's so sick.
Marcy says on YouTube, she says, I will cheer for the players and yell at the refs, but I can't stand the parents who yell at the coach's decision or yell at the players' actions.
Yeah.
They put in countless hours to prepare. Now,
I didn't see any parents yelling at the coach and like telling Rob what he should be doing. And they were just more so like so invested in, like, I think they were just like yelling at the game.
well, I'll tell you, we had I didn't put this call on the air this morning because it kind of, I didn't want it to get like heavy, but a woman called in and said that she coached high school sport, maybe some kind of school sport for years. And she's like, you have no idea the amount of pressure that puts on kids
Oh yeah.
when you've got a stand full of parents all yelling certain things, especially if they're getting aggressive.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like it really messes with their psyche, and like it's like not good for them.
It crosses a line when it goes from like supportive to like overbearing, I think.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on the kid though. And I think that's why it's so hard, is like but sometimes that can be motivating in a way.
Mhm.
And also something that I admire, and I listen to like a lot of sports talk, or I listen to a lot of athletes when they like have like motivational anything,
Sure.
is like that mindset is so interesting to me because it really is something that you have to mold and you have to create.
Yeah.
And I find that inspiring. And I tried, and so that's why it's hard to like find the balance of like pushing too hard versus like pushing yourself forward to get to another level if you really want to get there.
Well, it's what makes the pros, man. It's why not everybody can do it, you know? I mean, it's the same with singers or actors. Like, you have to be able to handle.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Let's talk Ravens for a second. Like, can you imagine going out and having 70,000 people screaming at you, either good or bad? Like, that seems like, and we're not just talking about screaming at you.
No.
We're talking about intoxicatedly, passionately yelling whatever their emotion is
It's
at
a full
you.
stadium.
70,000 people.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. When it comes to being a professional at anything, like you, even like a radio person, a lot of people can't take the public criticism that comes with this job, which you have to be able to take to be able to be a pro. Is it right? No, it's terrible. But as a professional performer, part of the job is handling, and that's why you see a lot of artists crack, and I don't blame them. It's fucking hard, you know. So we talk about like little kids getting it. I see why this woman that taught kids for so long is like, yo, like you gotta chill on this. Let's see what's going on with YouTube. Celia, hi, good morning. She says, Jesus Christ, we've gone through every damn sport, I swear. So it's kind of the same thing,
You're
right?
just trying to find your thing. It's hard. It's really hard when you really are like genuinely trying to find your thing.
She said, my husband had big dreams for Lily to play soccer, and she got in the face. She got
hit in the
probably
face,
hit in the face 2 times and got the wind knocked out of her. She did not finish the season. Well, yeah, if your kid gets hurt, that's one thing. I honestly, the reason I stopped playing baseball, I remember, is because the ball hit my hand and my thumb turned purple. And I was like, I will never. I was so mortified. I was like, I will never do this again to you. I am so sorry. And Isabel says, as a parent, sometimes as a parent, we want our kids to have the same experiences that we had as kids, but we don't understand that our kids are their own person. They are not us. And
Yeah.
I totally get that. Like, why would we not think, though, as a non-parent, but I can totally understand, why would I not think that my kid didn't want to go play Nintendo or Legos or whatever, do theater plays? Maybe they're a big sports head, and I'm like, no, but you have to go be in, West Side Story.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I want to play baseball. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
we don't do that in this family, you jerk. We don't do that.
We do jazz square.
I am so excited. Like, that's honestly one of the biggest things I'm so excited about parenthood is I'm just so intrigued and curious on what kind of human is going to be a result of Gerald and I.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just like, and as far as just like their interests and their personality, and whether it be, to be honest, it intrigues me more if they're into shit that we have nothing, that we don't know anything about.
They like to build
Like,
rockets or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
even when
Well,
like, even like when Abby or Maya talks to me about things that like I don't know anything about, like, I mean, I think what is it, Maya? It's something needling that she just fucking
needlepoint.
Yes, yes, Charlotte.
I pay attention when I'm editing.
Thanks, girl. Like, she just started like this needlepoint thing. And when we were at home over the holiday, I got her like a kit for Christmas as well. And she's just on the kitchen counter. There's a huge loud ass party going on, and this girl is just needlepointing her shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just made Butter a coaster for her new apartment. Like, and that I love. Like, I love seeing that, because like none of us.
Where did that come from? Where did that come from?
Did you see that on YouTube and you wanted to try it?
Shit,
and like, that's her fucking thing. So I think I'm just so excited. It would be really, really cool, obviously, if like one of our kids is into something that we like. But I think I'm also just as excited to discover something completely new and to see what that could be.
Bethany says, I can't wait for Baby Garage.
Dude,
I know. It's
yeah,
weird. It's gonna be weird to see like the personality traits that like this baby brings over, you know?
It's so interesting.
Charlotte and I both got hit. It was funny. Within like 24 hours, Charlotte called me and she was having like this meltdown. And I was like, wait, you can't melt down. I'm melting down right now. We had, over the weekend, we both had 2 people from our past drop big bombs on us. And I think that like everyone's probably going to be able to relate to this conversation, but man, like some of this stuff is just so shocking, and we'll talk about it right after the break. Okay.
I have to pee so bad.
Okay, go pee.
I have to pee so bad.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
We'll do this. We'll entertain YouTube while we have you guys here. Sorry, that was like such a great tease too, and then they dropped a bomb on us. Actually, I'm gonna check out my text messages. We just had a big change in our company, and now Tom is texting about it. I want to make sure that we're still employed.
Have any of you ever played The Sims? Do you guys know?
Oh yeah,
who
look
this
at
is?
look at
I'm
look at
wearing a
Charlotte's
fun
shirt.
today.
I didn't understand it, but now when she explained it to me, I was like, oh, "That's really funny."
That's my entertainment for now.
Anyway, no, it's fine. Everything's fine over here. Just a boss being a boss. You know how it goes. You know how these bosses go. What's up with y'all? Everything good? Are we missing anything big in your lives? Celia definitely played The Sims.
Yes.
She definitely played The Sims. I was too. Actually, I don't think I was too young for The Sims. I just didn't play it. My sister, though, I mean, we joke about it to this day. She was literally addicted. Like she was literally like, I've never seen. I never in my family has had like a serious addiction by any means, but I swear the closest person that we had was my sister Maggie, that literally, like, if we try to take her away from that game, she would have like meltdowns.
No, it's funny
like,
you
meltdowns.
say that, because there's an entire community online that has gotten sober, whether it be drugs, alcohol, just by playing The Sims.
No shit.
No, and it's like, it's actually
That's
really cool because they all
crazy.
like support each other. But I totally see how that works, because that game, like, there's so much going on. You get so invested.
Celia, no, Jess is not pregnant.
This is
I know if you came in
baby.
late, that may have seemed like Jess is pregnant. Jess is not pregnant. No, she's not pregnant. No, Jess is not pregnant. That I know of, that she's talked about. Amber says, I slept through a meeting this morning, y'all, so I missed the trivia game too. What's the trivia game? Are you talking about $1,000 minute? We didn't have a winner, in case you're wondering. So no.
Sorry, y'all. 10 minutes in, I had to pee.
That's
I was
all
like,
good.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's all good. Yo, you ever gotten some like just bomb dropping news from somebody in your past, and like almost like, wait, who? It's almost like if you spend a lot of time, this could be a friend or romantic partner or whatever, and like you find out something about someone that almost changes who they are and like the memories that you have of this person. Charlotte and I both got a bomb dropped on us this weekend, and oddly in similar senses. Do you want to explain yours first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Oh, okay. I don't even know where to begin with this. Haven't talked to my ex-best friend in like 2 years since I moved out of his house in Philly. It was a very strange friendship where it was like, he knew I had feelings for him. And he would like literally say stuff to her friends like, why is Charlotte going on a date when she can just flirt with me? Like, I'm not dating her, but like, that's weird. Like, it was very toxic. And we basically stopped being friends because I kind of tried to like set a boundary with that and be like, if we're not going to date, like maybe you can just treat me as a friend. So things got weird. We stopped talking. I came back to Maryland, whole thing. Haven't talked since then. So I haven't known anything about his life. But this is someone that we used to bond over, that we just like, we never wanted to grow up. We were like, we want to be Peter Pan forever. We want to just always make art and music and live in the city and have adventures. Like, this was something we talked about a lot.
Wait, can I ask questions to kind of set the scene?
Yeah,
and
please.
You, whatever you're comfortable with. Like, do you feel like you were in love with him, like for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
And do you think that he was in love with you or no?
I would say, I know hands down we loved each other very much as friends. We told each other so all the time. I think there were feelings there that he never really came to terms with. Like, his reasoning was always like, you remind me too much of my last ex who was my best friend and I can't lose you too. But he never said, I don't have feelings for you. It was very convenient.
Gray, but sure.
Yeah, it was messy. So is that enough context?
Yeah,
do
sure.
you think?
I think so. Just to kind of set like that, like where everyone's feelings were.
Yeah, it was just very confusing because I
Yeah.
was always very upfront about how I felt. So I started to feel a bit taken advantage of over time as he would like constantly flirt with me and like tell me he loved me, but like it was like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Is he part of the reason why you left Philly?
That was my final straw. There were some
Mm.
other things going on, but
that ultimately pushed you to come back here.
Yeah, there was one night when I told him I was like, I'm really fragile. I don't think I should be there. And he was like, it'll be fine. You should come up. And then he like had sex with someone. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
so you
wow.
could have just not told me to come.
Yeah.
And that was kind of when I was like, I think
That's
it's
pretty
time to go
bad.
home.
Yeah.
So this weekend I learned that he is leaving Philly and moving to New Jersey and impregnated the girl he started dating immediately after I moved out.
Oh, okay.
So I always in the back of my head like kind of delusionally thought like, oh, maybe because it felt like maybe I was cut off because they started dating because there was obviously weird energy there. I would understand it maybe. So I was just like, maybe like they'll break up and we'll like unpack our friendship.
Holding on for hope, right?
Yeah, I
get it.
really did genuinely always think we'd be friends again because we were so close.
Wait, by friends, do you literally mean friends, or do you think that possibly you guys would end up together? Honestly,
that's a good question. I think I hoped at bare minimum that he would admit that there had been some kind of energy there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cause he really hurt me. Like he called me crazy and all this stuff. And like
just like gaslighting you.
Yeah, he completely rewrote the entire story.
Yeah.
And acted like I was like crazy and obsessed with him and not like we were codependent friends who called each other every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe a small part of me thought we'd maybe try someday, but also I think I wanted more I don't know. It maybe a little bit.
But when was the last time you guys had actual contact since you've left Philly?
Yeah, it was slightly after I moved out.
So how long ago was that?
Let's see. Well, I just had a memory the other day that was
20 years ago.
No, because 2 years ago I was still living in his house. So I want to say it's been almost 2 years since we last spoke.
So almost 2 years, your friendship ends, you come back here, and there hasn't been any sort of interaction with you guys?
The closest thing to contact was that we were supposed to get coffee at one point, but we were planning this through our poor friend because this man never unblocked me. So he agreed to get coffee with me, but then we never made plans because anyways, so I just never ended up trying to do that.
And now you find out that he's moving to Jersey with the mother of his child.
Yes.
And this is who he's been with since you left?
Yes. And this is a man that didn't even have full-time employment. Like no shade, no tea.
I mean, there's time to be a little shade.
No shade, no tea.
He
But
doesn't have
I'm
a
like,
job. I mean, it's fine.
How are we providing for this child when I also never heard you talk about wanting children? I mean, I'm just like,
someone's like, who is this person?
Yeah, I'm like, the person that I knew, this unfathomable.
Yeah. So what is it that you're feeling right now?
Let's see. I felt really ill at first when I read that. And then
But do you feel ill because it's ending what you thought it might be, or are you ill because you're genuinely concerned for him?
It's a mix.
Okay.
It's a mix. Because part of me is like, he could have changed so much. Like maybe it's been a very eventful 2 years for him. And like he's like really figured things out, and he's like he just has different like wants and goals now.
Yeah.
But it also seems like he doesn't really hang out with any of our friends anymore. So I'm like a little worried that this is like,
that's weird though, right?
It's really weird.
It's such an unsettling feeling when like you have this image of somebody and how they are and how they act and how things are going to be, even like the story you've built in your head of how it's going to go. And then I think especially with these people that like you hold close to your heart, then like there's always this like, I wonder if it's gonna, and
he was there for me during a very dark time. Like I would say kind of saved my life. So no matter how much he hurt me, said like horrible things, like there will always be some level of care.
Sure.
There.
Yeah.
So I think that's
I don't think
why
loving
I'm sad
somebody
too.
ever, if you truly love somebody, I think I don't know that you ever that at least that place in your heart ever fully goes away.
I think
So I don't think it's like abnormal
Yeah.
to feel that, especially if you still held on to hope. But I think Jess brings up a good point. This is what I was trying to explain to Charlotte too, is like, yo, people can change a lot in 2 years. You know what I mean? Like if people knew me in 2017 and then saw me again in 2019, they'd be like, whoa, like who is this person? Like I wasn't drinking anymore. Like I wasn't married anymore. I was vegan at that point. Like, yeah, I was a massive ass meat eater, you know, big drinker, like all that. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, it was night and day, you know? So 2 years.
So I'm hoping I'm genuinely really hoping that's the case. Cause like I said, like there is some care there. Like I hope, but there's something in me that feels like something isn't right, but it's not my place now.
I know. And that's hard, right?
But I think maybe you should look more into that feeling, because I don't know if you're placing it in the right way. I think that now that this person that, you know, represented whatever he did for you during that time, and did to you the things that he did. And like you said, it's like, and there's nothing wrong with like always hoping that like you guys could get to a place of just like mutual understanding and just care, because you clearly you had love for that person. And sometimes, not even sometimes, I think unfortunately it takes things like this for you to, it's almost like a jolt in the chest of like, oh, that person really isn't going to be in my life anymore, or at least in the way that I thought they were going to.
Shocking.
Because the person I've missed is gone in a sense.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
but but also the person that you were missing wasn't treating you right though. And I think I don't want to say concern. I think that's the wrong word. I just feel like a lot of the things, I'll say this personally, what upsets me, because I hate that you've been made to feel like this multiple times by various people in your life in different situations. And I hate that, because I feel like you're such a beautiful person inside and out. And I think what I don't like is that I think sometimes when shit is really, really difficult, it's easy to like focus on the good parts of that person, to where we all of a sudden have the ability in our brains to wash away who they really were and who they really are and what they've actually done to us. And in a way, I think what you're going through right now is truly like a metamorphosis, and it's very overwhelming because you're experiencing a lot of changes at the same time, like in all, like it's almost like you're surrounded by change a lot. And my hope for you is to really be able to like take a step back and look at that, and whatever you believe in, whether if it's like God or the universe, is truly like pushing these toxic things away from you, because you deserve such a different life. And there's always something similar, which I hate, is like these people, or like men specifically, taking advantage of who you are because you're so giving and because you're so loving. And I think it's like, obviously, and the truth is, you don't know who this man is at all. He's a different person. And honestly, it's none of your business. And it's not your business. And like, he should not take up any more space like in your brain. You know what I mean? And I think it's also okay for him to be a different person in a different life, and that doesn't take away from who he was. But it's almost like the opportunity was taken away from you for you to have to again forgive and make an excuse for behavior and accept what you don't deserve to accept. You know what I mean?
Now I really wish we got the coffee pre-pregnancy, but
well, I think Jess is right. But I also, in your defense, I don't think that what you're going through is abnormal either. You know, I think a lot of people hold on to to the good parts of people. You know, we forget about all the shit.
A Capricorn, I'm really loyal.
I think as much as Jess is right, and she is 100%. I think you're also feeling the way that you feel, because obviously if you hear what Jess says, you're like, well, clearly, but those feelings are hard sometimes, man. They're hard to break through. And I think that Jess is right, though, that you're right. Charlotte's kind of going through what I was going through. Shit. I mean, her life's just kind of turned upside down. So I think that I think though that all of this is like these lessons, these building blocks, these whatever to kind of build this, this new life for you. But I get it. So that it's so funny because Charlotte called me. She said, I need to talk to you about something. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And she told me a story. I'm like, bro, I'm going to save this for the podcast because I genuinely just want your reaction once we talk about it. Because I don't know how this will especially hit you. I got some just it's same kind of situation this weekend where like you find out things about people and you're like, wait, who is that? Like, I don't even recognize that person anymore. So my dating life was pretty complicated for a long time. And most of y'all know this, and I'm gonna tell you a story about somebody that like I've never really mentioned before. So there's no way you're gonna be able to really talk about this. And I kept this one to myself because I knew it was messy and I knew there was something special about this person, but I wasn't quite sure what to do about it. So dating heyday 2019, dating a bunch of women.
California still
in California. Okay. I'm like, my feelings are kind of all over the place, but I'm also, of course, there because I'm a fucking wreck at this point. So I end up dating, focusing my attention on Miss California. We end things pretty quickly. And in the back of my head, I'm like, man, there's like something special about this other girl. And we, for like the next 2 years, it was the most chaotic, like on again, off again, like things would be really good. And we'd like talk about things and like she would come out and like it would feel pretty good. And then something would happen. And like, it's just, now that we went and talked for like a month or two and then, well, maybe we're talking again. It was very much on again, off again kind of thing. Right. And I kept the energy going here because this person was really special. It's kind of like you, right? Where there's just some people that just get a hold of you and you're like, it's almost like I can't be with you, but I can't be without you. It was complicated, but kind of going back and forth in between. Oh, maybe I'm ready for a relationship. Maybe I want to be single. It was mostly me. This whole thing went crazy. Anyway, when we signed our contracts not this last contract, but 2 contracts ago, she was pretty much like, if you're not coming back to California, there's no point in doing this. And I'm like, you're right. So like, that was that. But I think kind of like in your situation, you always hold there's some people that you're like, but I wonder like if things were different, like, I wonder if like maybe one day things will work out and like we'll realign and like it'll make more sense then because it's been really, this distance is hard, whatever. So I think that you always kind of like hold space for people sometimes, right? I had a friend call me this weekend and she was like, we were talking and this woman's name came up and she was like, whatever happened to that? Or kind of like filled her in. And she goes, she dates women now, right?
Whoa. Like only women? Like exclusively women?
Welcome to my mind. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, yeah, she dates women now. And I asked the same thing. She was like, honestly, I don't know. Cause this person's like a in between us kind of person, like doesn't really know. And I don't, there's so many things I don't know, but I was like, that cannot be true because this woman, wanted nothing more than like a heterosexual relationship with me. Like just wanted me to like be, like husband, like wanted a husband, like wanted it now. And like, and I was like, there's no fucking way that's true. I was like, there's no fucking way that's true. There's no way. That's not a true story.
Was it
like
that she wanted a partner?
I know.
Or that she wanted
but like
the heteronormative white picket fence.
I could have sworn it was that one.
Okay.
I could have sworn it was that one, y'all.
Okay.
No, but also it's like, I mean, but also at what point would you ever have a conversation or why would she talk to you about that? Though?
I don't know.
What I mean?
But I'm telling you, like she really, but
Yeah.
she was very like with me, I was like,
and that also doesn't take away from what you guys had, but that also does not mean that she doesn't that she didn't also was down to
the
do that
switch
too.
from you specifically to women is what makes it crazy.
Yeah, is that why you're tripping?
Well, yeah.
Or wait, how do you know that she didn't date other people after you?
So
yeah,
there's a lot of things I don't know here.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of things I don't know. So I was like, that can't be true. That can't be true. That can't be true. I had her blocked on my social media because once I have to like block people, I can't just like I'll never emotionally get over it.
Yeah.
And I unblocked her profile, and she has like a gay pride flag on her profile,
Mm.
and I'm like,
Is she in a relationship?
I don't know. I can't see pictures or anything. I have no idea.
Right.
So that's all I know. Shocked. Now
Are you happy for her?
sure. Yeah. I mean, I think if you love somebody, you have to be happy for her, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're living your truth, like,
Yeah.
but then there's this side of me, and this has never happened to me before. So I'm like trying to process these emotions at the same time, where like, what would have come from us then? You know what I mean?
What do
Like,
you mean?
if these, and Charlotte, I wanted to bring this up with you because you're bi,
Mm.
and like, I guess were you always bi, or did you date men exclusively for a long time?
Yeah, I was kind of like a late bisexual. Like I didn't realize it till I was like I want to say like 2013 was like when I kind of started realizing that. So how old was I? Like I would have been in high school. So yeah, so it took me a little bit. I think there's such heteronormativity shoved down our throats.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm actually not as shocked as I could be about
Right.
this.
I didn't know I didn't know if you would be.
Yeah, I've also had a lot of friends who like seemed like the straightest person ever. Like that was their main thing that they always wanted, and like now they're in such like beautiful like sapphic relationships.
Right.
And I'm like,
I mean,
so weirdly, I'm not completely shocked. It's just the fact that you are like the epitome of straight man.
yeah.
Like in some ways. So it's just
It's
that part's
What
crazy.
are you trying to say, Charlotte?
No, it's just a
Go
little
on, Charlotte.
funny. Like,
well, of course, there's a part of
like,
me that's
you're
like,
just
did I
so
turn you
toxic,
gay?
and,
Like, did I ruin men for you?
you
Like,
might have been the catalyst.
yo,
Like,
it's wild. It's like hard for me to digest because
Low key.
there's that part. Yo,
That's what it's giving, bro.
it's part of like there's part of me that's like, and again, I don't know anything. I don't
what
talk
I'm
to you
hearing
anymore.
is we broke these
Right. I'm like, did I ruin men for you? Like,
And what I think too, I like, just because I think that, like, I mean, that's what I would not what I would assume, but like someone that's bisexual, and obviously you can attest to this, Charlotte. Like, I think what you had with that person was real, but what she has with whoever she's seeing now is just as real.
Sure, 100%.
You
And
know,
again, and you know me, I love gay people. This is not, there's no homophobia involved. It's just more of it's weird though when it happens and you're the person before it. It's a really weird, like, only because I knew, like, and there was a part of me that was like, maybe I should like go. I had thought about, because we had such a strong connection. I was like, maybe I should like drop my radio career and go focus on that. And then,
this goes back to what we were talking about with Charlotte too, is like someone can change in 2 years,
100%.
and
Clearly.
anyone can relate to that as well. Like, and once obviously that communication was cut off, like you have no idea what she went through and who she met.
No
you know
idea.
what I mean?
I have
And
no idea.
And also, it's like I think when it comes, I also don't think it's necessary to put like labels on people as well. Like, she could have met someone and just really truly felt like a connection that she had never experienced.
But tell me this,
you know what I mean?
Tell me your ex that you dated for a long time before Garage. If all of a sudden you found out he was gay, would you be like, wow, this is interesting?
I'd be
I
like,
did not see that at all.
Literally, if I found that out, I would be like, I hope you are fucking happy, and I hope you are who you are meant to be, and you're treating that person 1,000 times better than you
100%.
treated me, because that's obviously where you're meant to be.
But it wouldn't make
that's
you
how
feel,
I would feel.
It wouldn't make you feel weird at all. Of like, I had this whole life with somebody.
No,
that,
because
like,
I think when it comes to sexuality, I think it's so fluid that it doesn't hit me in a way where it's like, but how could you now be with a man? Like, it doesn't. I think it would just be like, I think it's such a soul thing for me that it wouldn't hit me in that way.
Like, a special person is a special
period.
person, and that can change. Like, the way she was that special to you, like, she probably found that kind of special, but in a way that also feels like safe
listen, 100%. And
it
like,
sounds like even if she was, labels don't matter, but even if she was also seeing women at the time that you knew her and not talking about it, it sounds like she's so much more like proud of it now with like the flag and everything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
which I love.
And
Which is
like,
awesome.
if that's who you are, man, I'm happy for you. I'm just saying, from this point of view, it's just odd
because there's
because,
probably a little like tinge of sadness for you.
well, it's
and
sad.
like,
It's sad because I think kind of like you. It's almost like you wonder, like, would that would that have ever worked out?
But I
then,
think it's so good though, because unfortunately, as much as those situations hurt, things like that, like I think things like that happen in our lives for it to truly be a sign of like, this is not the direction.
yeah.
Change course.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And
100%.
honestly, as humans, unfortunately, it has to be that abrupt for you to truly change course.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you won't.
100%.
I think in a way we've been freed. Like,
Yeah, well, you just know that path is closed, and
Right.
and like
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what life is you head down one path, and if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't work, you head down another
Yeah.
path, and I just wonder. It's just funny because I wonder. It's like, if we were to have done that, like,
mm,
with those feelings, would she have been able to explore that? Like, it's just
Yeah.
it's like a little mind boggling to
And
me.
I
to,
think
like,
that's what's
digest
so
it.
and that's what's just so interesting too, where it's like I feel like everything happens for a reason, and
yeah.
you have to look at it like that too. It's like things didn't work out. It's like, what if you did
Yeah.
leave and it's like she had this completely different side of her heart
Yeah,
that she was struggling, you know what I'm saying? There's just
Yeah.
there's
And
so
then
many
it came
layers
out.
to
It
it.
came out a year later, and then I've like
Yeah.
And you're
quit
out
the radio
there
show
and you're
or
like, wait,
whatever.
this isn't for me. Like we're actually not meant to be together. Like there's so many layers to things.
Dude,
No.
if he hadn't fucked someone that night, I would have never met you guys.
That's true. Hey!
So, like,
Thank God he
shout
fucked
out.
somebody. That's
Thank
true.
you.
Isn't that crazy? Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't have left.
No,
Yeah.
true,
I'd
true.
still be in Philly. Probably.
Isabel said, "Are we talking about this?" No, I've never talked about this woman, so no, we're not talking about anybody.
New woman just dropped.
Yeah, new woman dropped today. Meh, 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 meh.
And congrats to her.
I
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
I'm really happy for her.
I'm happy. It's just interesting.
And happy baby.
Happy baby to you, sir.
Happy pregnancy.
But surely, I mean, think about it. Like, I mean, it is. in all
Parenthood
seriousness.
changes people
Yeah.
sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like it forces you to change, you know?
Yo, what a show, man. What a show. Thank you for being a part of it. Jess, you say you're rebranding the podcast. I didn't even know this, but you're rebranding your podcast?
Yes. So I'm currently working on my podcast. It's going to be called Life in Bloom with Jess. And I'm going to be having conversations with women, all like women in my life. First, I'm starting with my family, but it's predominant. Of course, you know, my dad can't help himself, and I'll have a conversation with my dad. But it's going to be different conversations with family members. And actually, this wasn't meant to be for like content or a podcast. I just wanted to have conversations with the different family members, like my grandmothers
Yeah.
and my aunts, just to have
Yeah,
for
of
myself.
course, of course.
And then I was just like, I feel like a lot of people could, I mean, for me, it's like the women in my family have just always helped me in my life and made me who I am and just changed my life still to this day. And so I thought it would be special to also share that. And it feels different because initially it was just going to be for myself.
Right.
And this is, I mean, I don't like my family are my favorite people that I like to talk to. And it's like, I'll be on the phone with my mom for like 3 hours at like whatever, you know? So I'm really excited to do that. And it's going to be women in different stages of their life. And it's like, I want to talk to my mom. And I'm also going to have an episode with like Abby
Love
by
it.
herself
Yeah,
and like
love it.
Maya by herself, you know?
And I'll tell you this, and that's kind of like with the idea where Mama's Boy started. You'll always be so thankful that you have all that documented.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
Like,
Yeah. Because I was looking at different like videos of Abby and Maya, and I was like, I really want to have this with my other family members
Yeah.
because I can visibly see them getting older, you
Yeah,
know, with
of
all the
course.
content that we have of
Of
them.
course, yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm working on
Awesome.
currently.
Love it. Charlotte,
I am at PTSD Diva.
and if you need me to turn you gay, you can slide into my DMs, and I'll ruin men for you. I'm that guy Kramer. My show is called Certified Mama's Boy, and yo, we love y'all. Thanks for being a part of the show. YouTube, you're the best, and we'll see you guys, next week ish. Okay. All right, bye, everybody. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, YouTube. Love y'all.